Squares, welcome to my very first NFL related video. Very first video since the season is right around the corner. I'm literally about a week away from the day of recording. I'm going to do a power rankings, and then maybe next couple days I'll do a predictions video for the first week of games. I'm not sure if I'll make this a podcast turn this into a podcast audio only on Spotify or not, but it'll definitely go on YouTube on my JCube channel. But I'm debating whether or not to start maybe a Spotify channel for podcasts for some of the other videos I've made. I'm a fan of the NFL, but I'm not I couldn't tell you who the starting offensive line is for the Raiders per se. But I follow the league pretty closely. I am a Bills fan, Buffalo Bills, but I follow every single other team. Not as much as I do the Bills. I could probably tell you every single player on the Bills. Take me a minute, but I probably could. But yeah, I could pretty much tell you in general how each team is doing or how good or bad they are, where they stand. So. But I mean, obviously this is my opinion, so just stuff that I listen to other podcasts and creators and stuff like that. So my opinions are kind of based off of their opinions, sort of give or take. And obviously some of this can be just by feel too. You know, we all know week one's a liar, so you could also have a bunch of good teams come out week one and just blow it, and then they get better by the end of the year. So starting off at we will go. I think I'll go ascending order. So I'll start with the worst team and work my way up to the best. I might try to group some teams together just so I can kind of gauge a group of teams that I think are at the bottom of the league and then deliberate from there. I kind of made a pre-list already, and my opinion and stuff might change as I'm doing this. So at number 32, I have the New Orleans Saints. So I was actually talking to one of my coworkers on Friday. I think it was Friday. This was the only team I couldn't remember who the quarterbacks were, or who the starting quarterback's supposed to be. This was the only team I got everybody else but this team, because to my knowledge, both their starting quarterbacks are less than desirable, and the whole rest of the team is just not that great. And honestly, that starts at the quarterback position. So Spencer Rattler and Tyler Show, I think I said that right. Yeah. At number 31, we have the Cleveland Browns. This team, they clearly have a path to building a good team right now. But I just think with the quarterback position in such huge flux, and they're starting Joe Flacco, who is 40-some years old. I mean, I think he's about cooked. I mean, he did a good job a couple seasons ago, but I mean, he's 2 years older now. And then they're going to try to get Shedeur Sanders, and I can't remember who the other guy is. The other guy they drafted. I can't remember his name on top of my head right now, but yeah, they got two rookies and then a 40-year-old Joe Flacco. So they might have a monster defense. They will have a monster defense just because of Myles Garrett, but I think the defense is only going to carry them so far. I think eventually they'll get tired by the end of the season and they'll start winding down. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans. So for Tennessee Titans, obviously they got a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward. To my knowledge, I guess he's looked all right. Again, for a rookie in the preseason, he's more of an unknown at this point as far as Cam Ward is going to be, being as a rookie. So we'll just have to see. Next, I have the New York Giants. Next, I don't know, Russell Wilson. He's gotten worse over the years. I mean, age is only going to catch up at some point, and he's a running quarterback on top of that. So I mean, he still goes a decent moonball, but I mean, you can't rely on that the rest of your career. It's only going to get you so far. Actually, now I think about it, I actually might bump up the Browns just because of the defense up higher. Actually, I'm going to take the Browns off here for now. I'll put them back on the board at some point soon. I think because of their monster defense they're going to have, I think they're going to be better than I expect. Next, we have the Bears. So, as far as the Bears are concerned, I mean, Caleb Williams, I mean, he did okay last year, again, for a rookie. But he still has a lot more to prove to show that he's going to be the changing quarterback for that franchise. I mean, defense is pretty darn good, but most of this power ranking is really going to boil down to just how good the quarterbacks are at this point. So, I mean, Caleb Williams, you got to make it better. And then if you're good, then the team should be okay. At least I would say middling as long as Caleb Williams is good. The Carolina Panthers next. For the Carolina Panthers, I guess we got to see if the little surge Bryce Young had at the end of last year is going to serve the team as good, or it's going to continue. I mean, their team is a little bit better, but Not much better than it was last year. I'm about the Bears because I think maybe a little more highly of Bryce Young. I think maybe he'll start being a little more consistent than Caleb Williams will. And next, we have the Miami Dolphins. So I think this is where I'll insert the Browns right for the Dolphins, just because they at least have a decent quarterback. There's so much locker room problems. A lot of their big players left. I mean, they still have some decent players left behind still, but Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I mean, but still, you're talking about maybe like a mirror image of a poor man's Cincinnati Bengals at this point. I mean, Tua can play good, but he gets injured all the time, and as the year goes on, he kind of just lets the team down. So I mean, I just don't know if I can trust Tua to stay consistent and stay healthy throughout an entire season. So, and just with all them losing all their star power they had last year, the last couple of years, I think they're going to crumble. Next, we have the New York Jets. I do like that they had a very quiet offseason this year. Not a lot of drama going on with Aaron Rodgers gone and all that baggage gone, and a new rough nose head coach with Anthony Glenn. They might make some headway, but with Justin Fields as their starting quarterback, I just don't think they're going to get very far. Still, I think they're going to have a really good defense, kind of like the Browns will, but maybe Anthony Glenn will get them a few more wins just with his coaching. Again, it's still not that great. Next, we have the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. So, with the Colts, Anthony Richardson, obviously, I think is a train wreck. I think we've figured out he's a bust. Hence why Daniel Jones is starting. I mean, Daniel Jones only gives them so much of a ceiling. I mean, they have a good remainder of team, but I just think Daniel Jones, he's only going to give him so much of a ceiling, which is pretty low. Unless maybe change the scenery, maybe makes them a little better, but I doubt it. Next is the Las Vegas Raiders. I think with them getting Geno Smith, I think it really bumped their chances. They actually have a decent quarterback, and I think they'll shock some people. Next, we have the New England Patriots. So, as far as Patriots are concerned, I mean, I think Drake May's going to be really good. He's going to be a really good starting quarterback. He could probably win you a Super Bowl if you have a good remainder of team. He showed a lot of good things last year, but again, the remainder of team I think is leaves to be desired. I think Drake May will take them. We'll give them some wins this year, but the rest of the team is probably going to let him down, and they'll probably be, where they're at on this tier list. So I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys next. Right after the Michael Parsons trade, they got rid of literally one of the best players in the league to Green Bay. And Dak Prescott he's overrated completely. He's a good quarterback when he's on fire, on falling on all cylinders, but he's very inconsistent though. And with the remainder of the team, I mean, they got CeeDee Lamb and other weapons like that, but they're going to be a very middling team. I think just because of Dak Prescott, he'll win some games for him, but he'll also not win them games. He'll be right in the middle. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray. I think he's not necessarily a bust, but I just still think that it's kind of like the same thing as Dak Prescott. They just have the remainder of the team is just not that great, and Kyler Murray only has so much of a ceiling to get them. So, I mean, Cardinals are basically just a smidge better than the Cowboys, I think. Just because maybe the overall team is just a little bit better. But overall, they're about the same. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I think with Mike Tom alone, he'll at least give them 500 at least. Around that ballpark. Just that alone puts him here. And then, I think Aaron Rodgers is cooked. He got injured. He had a season-ending injury against the Bills first season 2 years ago. And then he played okay last year. He played better than most quarterbacks in the league, but he still played okay. And with him being another year older, I think his play is only going to decline. So, I mean, they have a great defense, but I think Aaron Rodgers, he's only going to be able to do so much for that team. And at this point, I think he's just a bridge quarterback. Just to get him through the season so they can maybe drop one next year or maybe be in the conversation for trading or getting somebody else next year. Next, I had the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars, I think we know Trevor Lawrence at this point. I mean, he's kind of the same as Arizona and Dallas, Trevor Lawrence, he's kind of just at this point, he's a middling quarterback. He's very inconsistent. He hasn't shown that he's that generational talent we were all promised. And I just don't think he's going to get there either. So the rest of the team's all right, but it's up to Trevor Lawrence to take them where they need to go. And I just don't think he's it. You can win a Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence, but you have a better remainder of team than what Trevor Lawrence is giving you. Next, we have the Texans. So with the Texans, we don't know which CJ Stroud are we going to get. We're going to get the one from his rookie season, or we're going to get the one from last year where he was okay. The rest of the team is decent, but I guess it's up to CJ Stroud to uplift that team, and maybe we'll get the better version of him this year. Otherwise, this is where the Texans sit in middling. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons. I may have the Falcons up here because I'm pretty sure I saw that Michael Penix played pretty good last year for, again, rookie quarterback. So I'm thinking he might take a step this year. We'll see. But they have a pretty decent team around him. It's just a matter of him taking that step forward and maybe even being consistent, which I believe he will be, I think. That's kind of why I have a little him above Lawrence and CJ Stroud. I think he might have a sort of a breakout sophomore year. Again, it's conjecture. I could be 2 games in, 3 games in, and he completely proves me wrong, and then Falcons just plummet down the power rankings, but we'll see. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks. So they got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold gives them a pretty good floor, obviously, with what he gave the Vikings last year. Super Bowl wild card at least. So I think with the rest of the team around him and Sam Darnold hopefully being as good as he was last year, I think worst case scenario they're a wild card team. Next is San Fran. All right, so some of you might be like, why do you have San Fran this low when they have all these star power players? Well, unfortunately, with this team, as soon as they lose one star player, their team seems to crumble. But right now, I can't trust them. I can trust them to be like a wildcard team, maybe, if their rest of their team is good enough. But if they do the same thing they did last year and their stars getting hurt and they can't do anything about it, they'll probably plummet down this list as well. Maybe with the Falcons, they'll plummet. But I think worst case scenario, with how good Brock Purdy is, I think they might get at least a wild card team, worst case scenario. Next is the Bengals. So you want to be asking, they have Joe Burrow as their starting quarterback. Why are they this low? Their defense. They're literally running the same team back they did last year. And they only got how many wins? They're completely out of the playoff race. Joe Burrow can only do so much for that team. And you're running the same exact team back with the same bad defense. With one good player on a 1-year deal and Trey Hendrickson. I mean, what's the saying? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. I don't know what the Bengals think. They're insane. Next, we have the Chargers, LA Chargers. So, obviously with the new coach and John Harbaugh. I can't remember. I know both brothers are Jim and John are both in the NFL. I just can't remember which one is which. Unfortunately, I want to say John Harbaugh is the Ravens and Jim is the Chargers. If I'm wrong, then correct me in the comments. Whatever. But I know he came from college and he started being the Chargers head coach last year. So. With that set, I think the Chargers, they have a better balanced team than the Bengals do. Clearly, the Bengals' offense is on fire, but their defense is garbage. So at least the Chargers, I think, a little more balance of a team with Justin Herbert. I expect them to be in the dance with the wild card, or at least fighting for a wild card spot anyway. The LA Rams next. So the reason I have the Rams here is because I'm having doubts that Matthew Stafford is going to be good this year just because his back injuries he's been dealing with. And when you talk about quarterback getting up in age and having back issues, that's usually not very good. So, but I know Matthew Stafford's also been a tough guy in the past and played through injuries. So, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I think it's a 50-50 shot whether or not he's good or not. But I'm leaning towards no. And if it is no, LA Chargers, the Rams are probably going to plummet in this list as well. But I'm banking on Stafford being at least good. At least. So he gives them a pretty good floor at being good. Because the remainder team is Super Bowl caliber, I believe. It's just the quarterback is the one in question. Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings. This is kind of the same thing. Not necessarily the same thing, but this team is loaded. Vikings with offensive stars and a darn good defense. But JJ McCarthy is a huge unknown. If he comes out and firing on all cylinders, and he's really good, this team can, I think, easily go away to the Super Bowl with how much offensive weapons they have. But if he's okay, I think they'll only go as far as he'll take them. Which, again, I think it's wild card or fighting for a wild card. So, Vikings' success all hangs on JJ McCarthy, whether he's good or not. Next is the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix showed us last year that he's actually pretty good. And Sean Payton, I guess, right now he's proven that he is a quarterback whisperer. We'll see. But they also have a great remainder of team. So, again, I think same deal with Vikings. A really good team overall. But it's all up to Bo Nix how far they'll go. Next, we have the Buccaneers. Honestly, most of these teams in this tier list right here, they're about the same story. How far can Baker Mayfield take the Buccaneers? They're a good team, just they have a great offense, but how far can Baker take them? Washington, same deal. I mean, Jane Daniels, who played Osmania last year as a rookie, made it all the way to a championship game with a rookie quarterback. Is he going to get found out? Are they going to plummet? Or is he going to take the next step forward and say, no, last year wasn't a fluke. I'm a good quarterback, and I'm going to stand, with the rest of the league quarterbacks in the league becoming an elite. We'll see. I'm going to put the Lions next. I just think the Lions just have a better remainder team than the Commanders. Actually, I do want to go back on the Commanders real quick, because you might be wondering, well, they make it to a championship game. Why are they below the Lions? The Lions didn't. Well, the problem with the Commanders is I did not like their offseason too much because they signed a lot of old people. And you're banking on most of those old veterans being good enough. And I think you're just banking on too much, and I think it's not going to work. Unless, again, assuming Jenny Daniels is still good. So if he can at least carry them with the choices they made in the offseason not being too good, I think they'll at least be in the divisional, worst case scenario, I think divisional round. For the Lions, going back on them, just still, they have a great overall team right now. They've been knocking on the door for multiple years now, close to the Super Bowl. And I don't think that's going to change for a little bit. I mean, they still got Dan Campbell as their coach, and Jared Goff's still playing pretty good football, so we'll see. So next we have the Green Bay Packers. So the reason I have them all up here is because the trade. That Michael Parsons trade, I think, without that Michael Parsons trade, I probably would have had them down in the next tier. But with that trade, I think they're up here in the top 5. I think they're going to be a monster this year. They're going to get the Eagles run for their money. I tell you that much. Great offense. With all the young players they have the youngest team in the league. So with all the good young players they drafted, and Jordan Love playing good football, and now they have Michael Parsons. They have 2 of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I mean, they're going to kill it. Next, I have my Buffalo Bills. So, I only had the Bills this low just because, low, air quotes, they're in top 5. They're 4. Josh Allen's going to carry them. He might carry them to a championship game again. He's done it He's done it twice already. He's carried his entire team to the championship game when defense has gotten injured and defense has played subpar. Josh Allen has not lost the Bills games. It's been the rest of his team has lost him the games. The reason I have the Bills lower than the last 3 teams I don't have on here was purely because I just think the Ravens have just a general better team than the Bills as far as the roster is concerned. And the Chiefs, for some reason they cannot pass the Chiefs. So until the Bills can beat the Chiefs, they're going to be below the Chiefs. So every single time we do a power ranking, if they can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, they're going to be below the Chiefs. Speaking of the Ravens, next we have the Ravens. Again, I just think they have a little bit better of a team than the Bills do, with Lamar Jackson, and again, just remainder of team and the coach. There's just a tick better of a team. Next, and runner-up, we have the Chiefs. By all accounts, when I heard the Chiefs are going to be a bit better this year. Patrick Mahomes looks like he's playing on fire. It looks like they might have a better offense this year. And we'll see if the Bills and Ravens can stop them. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes, I can't count them out of the Super Bowl. And then, just by default, we have the Eagles as the number one team. I mean, they have a great team still, even with some of the players let go of. They still have a great, amazing, balanced team. It's just they're number one just simply because they won Super Bowl. They're defending Super Bowl champs, and I mean they have every single chance. They have every chance this year to go down this list after week one, or stay where they're at with the win. So unless the Eagles can prove me that they're not as good as they were in the Super Bowl, that's where they're going to sit, number one. So I said I was going to change the Browns. Let me see. I think the Browns defense probably puts them, I'll say, just above the Raiders. So that's my tier list. Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Packers, Lions, Commanders, Buccaneers, Broncos, Vikings, Rams, Chargers, Bengals, 49ers, Seahawks, Falcons, Texans, Jaguars, Steelers, Cardinals, Cowboys, Patriots, Browns, Raiders, Colts, Jets, Dolphins, Panthers, Bears, Giants, Titans, and Saints. Obviously, this is all my opinion. This just again opinions I got from podcasts and just my own views on these teams. Some shot in the darks, some knowns and unknowns. We'll see how wrong I am after week one. I'll probably do the power rankings probably I think maybe quarter of the season, like every 4 games. But I'll do another power rankings, updated power rankings. Because again, week one's a liar, so I mean, for first couple weeks of the NFL season are for liars because some teams are still getting into their group, so you don't know how actually good they are. So all these teams have the time to get better or get worse. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and stay square.